Meanwhile, the Bureau of Public Safety is asking government to withdraw with immediate effect the $150 testing fee per traveler completely. It adds that this is in contravention of the international health regulations by the World Health Organization. I spoke to its executive director, Nanaya Wakwada.
Yes, indeed, we are not in normal times, but that is precisely what the international health regulations has been designed for. Okay, it was based on the international health regulations 2005 that the WHO, first of all, that China disclosed the information of an outbreak of a strange disease to the World Health Organization. It was based on the same international health regulations that the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a disease of international concern, thus a pandemic. So to suggest that we are not in normal times, and so every country must do what they please, especially issues that have been explicitly stated in the regulations, to go contrary to that is neither here nor there. The experts from WHO convening and putting this document together anticipated that a time will come like this when state parties would want to do things their own way. So in Article 43(2) of that same regulation, it states that countries cannot implement additional health measures exclusively as a precaution, but must rather ground this decision in scientific principles and scientific evidence and advice from the WHO.
So are you saying if government decides to absorb the cost of this $150 and still go along with the test, you'll be fine?
Absolutely. Government has a choice to scrap it entirely. They have a choice to keep it and absorb the cost. If they decide to absorb the cost, we will be fine with that, because that will not be in violation of any regulation. But as much as to the extent that they want to maintain it, then they must absorb the cost. Otherwise, they should scrap it entirely.
Now, away from the Japa Royalties deal, hundreds of hectares of farmlands have been submerged in flood in some communities in the Kurugu-Muagduri district of the northeast region following spillage of the Bagri Dam and torrential rains. The situation has forced dozens of farmers in the area to move to flooded farmlands in attempts to salvage their crops, despite a warning by NADMO that farmers express worry over food shortage and hunger and have called on government to intervene.
We can't go out to Kinkwo or market. And for that matter, we are in danger, because to go out and sell or go out and buy, we can't go. Car cannot come to Zanlo here. Even Motkin cannot come. To come, it will come empty, but to come with load, it can't come. And here we also do farming work. So whenever we want to sell this, we can't get somebody to come and buy, because there's no way for car to come.
Speak louder to me.
This is my father's farm, and every year the water overflowing our farms and we don't know how to do it. And our education, they use these things to feed us on our education, so, and even get money to pay our school fees. So every year when we farm this, the water will come and overflow, so we don't know how to do. And we are pleading to the government to come and help us.
The minister needs to check, get in touch with the district, get in touch with the region. This is northeast region. Farmers, I guess, should be worried, should be crying, not only farmers, I guess we, those who are also supporting them, facilitating them, needs to be worried, because we are not going to get the maize that has cobbed very well, dried. Water has taken all of it. I think it is a national issue that we need to look at. The minister needs to respond. We need to take a look at this and let's see what we can do. To get here, we were up like 4:30, an hour's journey, but still we are still around. We haven't even gotten to where we are. The roads are flooded, the farms are flooded, roads are cut off. Trucks cannot even ply the road where the contractors are working on. But I think that the minister needs to look at this critically, because this is a recipe to a famine this year, hunger this year, because if you look at both left and right, both sides of the farms, this is over hundreds of hectares of maize that has just gotten flooded. And this has been in the water for the last 1 week.
Meanwhile, the regional minister is leading a team with NADMO officials to tour the affected areas. Ilyasu Tanko is a man in the Northeast region. He joins us with more. So how widespread are the floods, Ilyasu?
Well, we are getting reports from 3 districts: the Mampurugu-Muaduri district, the part of the West Mamprisi municipality, and then also the East Mamprisi municipality. And we understand the worst hit is around the Mampurugu area, which is normal. And the roads have been cut off. Contractors working on feeder roads have left the area because of the situation. Hundreds of farm lands, as we speak, are sitting in water. And so it's a very serious situation. Roads are cut off. The large part of the district, especially the West Mamprisi municipality and also the Mampurugu-Muaduri district, currently are inaccessible. And so as we speak, the regional minister is going there with a team of NADMO officials to further assess the situation.
Quickly, Ilyasu, we are told that these floods were caused by the spillage of the Bagri Dam and torrential rains. We know that prior to the spillage of the dam, NADMO issued a warning alerting farmers and residents in affected areas. Is it that nothing could have been done to salvage the farm produce?
Well, because of delays in rains, the farmers cultivated their crops late this year. And so, as we speak, most of the crops are not ready for harvesting.
Okay.
And so because of that, even though the NADMO gave warning that people living along the White Volta River should move, but the situation is quite different because of farmers are now desperate, and as we speak, a lot of them are currently in the floodwaters trying to salvage their crops.
And Ilyasu, finally, we haven't reported any casualties. Is it that no homes are affected, just the farmlands?
Yes, exactly. As we speak, we are told that about 3 of the 4 valves of the Bagri Dam have been opened, and so it led with our understanding is that it led with 1 more valve to be opened. Okay. And so, as we speak, the affected part is in where the people cultivate their crop. It hasn't gotten to where people live. But of course, many people do live in their farmlands. But like I said, the NADMO officials issue warning and make sure that everybody leaves, those living in the lowland, leave the place. But okay. As we speak, like I said earlier on, people are now in their farmlands, in the flooded waters, and the flood waters trying to salvage their crops. But so it's a very desperate situation right now in the region. Thank
you very much, Ilyasu. Ilyasu Tanko is our Northeast region correspondent. Well, in response to the Bureau of Public Safety's concerns, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kuma Boaje, says he was not aware that this directive was in contravention of any World Health Organization international health regulation, and added that we were not in normal times. Away from that, the President of the National House of Chiefs in Agbogbo-Mefia of Asogli, Toby Apede, has denied claims of ever making comments on the controversial Ijapa Royalties deal. Addressing members of the House of Chiefs on some fake news items attributed to the House. Toby Apede condemned one of the publications purported to have been sourced from comments made by former President John Dramani Mahama on ethnocentrism, all in a bid to drag his name into the region controversy. He described the claims as mischievous and urged the public to disregard those publications.
It was titled, House of Chiefs Condemn Ethnocentric Comments shared by John Dramani Mahama. Again, most of these publications came with my name, but this one went further to forge the letterhead of the National House of Chiefs. By the time it was dropped by Ghana Web, it had attracted almost 150 comments. This is extremely mischievous and need to be condemned without any reservation and in no uncertain terms. I, in particular, am very much hurt by the attempt to use my name to grant legitimacy to a transaction that has been very widely condemned for its secrecy and for the fact that the company involved, Ejapa, was incorporated in a tax haven. I do not see why desperation will lead anybody who is associated with that transaction to want to use the name of innocent Tobyapede the 14th. I've never commented on these kind of transactions, and I've decided not to comment for good reason that show disapproval of this transaction. Tax havens typically serve two purposes: helping you to avoid tax or ensure secrecy. I don't see why a national transaction should be shrouded in secrecy in the first place. And if we are trying to avoid tax or minimize tax, whom are we denying tax payment to? The corporation is incorporated in Ghana, tax will accrue to Ghana, which will be paid by this company that is owned supposedly majority by Ghana. So I do not see why we should be doing that in the first place. But more important for me is the attempt to use my name and the National House of Chiefs to grant legitimacy to this transaction. The National House of Chiefs will issue a statement very shortly to deny that this ever emanated from the House. Meanwhile, we have lodged a report of the police so that the culprits who are perpetrating this can be traced. This is very important, in the run-up to the December 7 elections. People will attempt to use social media to spread all kinds of falsehood. It's indeed very dangerous and should be condemned by all well-meaning Ghanaians. It's not about whether you're NDC or NPP. Democracy must be built on solid foundations of truth. Extremely important.
As well, but Paramount Chief of Kurugu in the West Mamprisi municipality, Kurugu Joseph Suleimana, has declared no electricity, no vote in 9 communities. The chief is demanding the completion of an abandoned electricity project in the area, which has left them in the dark for a while now. He warns his people will not participate in the upcoming general election unless government connects the area to the national grid. There's more in this report.
The project to extend electricity coverage to Kurugu and its environs was awarded under the NDC administration. Indeed, JoyNews checks confirmed the project was ongoing till 2016 after the change in government. The chief, Kurugu Joseph Suleimana, says the absence of electricity is adversely affecting development in the area. He says some of the residents walked about 15 to 20 kilometers to access electricity to charge their phones and for other purposes.
So the bookman I'm finding one zone palm. Yeah, telling me to my to put a corner and the new category TV.
If we have electricity, our women will stop cooking in smoke. We will watch television and get to know what is happening in Accra. But no electricity, and we are still in darkness. Our children will be able to take night studies, and education will improve here.
So
The chief says his people will not vote unless the project is completed. He told Joy News the municipal chief executive has been petitioned to act on the demand before election day.
2016 sa kabada sa Paul Dema wire.
So I am very worried about the absence of electricity here. The poles and the wires were erected in 2016, and we still don't have lights. After several complaints, they told us the contractor was dead. We don't know the new contractor. No transformers here and poles at Patusi.
Contractor pia kusopa dia ngampumbo vo na kayelte ngwanya ka tunamura hal zuna dahura.
My people and my elders are not happy. So today I have asked a delegation to go and inform the MC in Walwale our decision not to participate in the upcoming general elections unless they give us light.
For Joy News, Ilyasu Tank.
Little Clara Koyo is surrounded by a world full of sound, yet she hears none of it. She's clinically deaf and goes about her day mumbling her speech. This all because her poor single mother and aunt cannot raise 6,500 cedis to buy her hearing aids. It's been almost 3 years since her birth, and the plight continues. JoyNews' PSC Nanaya Safo was in Tantra Hill, Accra, to meet the little girl and her worried mother.
A loving mom says hello.
Hello.
But the young one cannot respond. Not because she doesn't want to. She just does not hear anything. Clara Koyo is like every other 2-year-old in the country, but her mood is reduced to a few rather inaudible words. Vida Anagbla is Clara's mother.
She makes signs and hits me when she's thirsty. She usually uses signs to inform me of what she likes. She's yet to speak.
Little Clara has not begun to learn proper language. She cannot. She was born with a hearing impairment. Her mother, Vida Anagbla.
She has never called me mother. Her father died of some illness whilst furthering his education. Clara was 1.5 years old at that time.
Children generally pick patterns of speech after 6 months of birth. After 2 whole years, Vida got worried. Little Clara was sent to the hospital for tests, but the results were more than her mother could take or pay for from the little funds she makes selling oranges.
I don't know was already 5 million.
The doctors requested 500 cedis for the test. I had to borrow that amount. The test was done, but I honestly cannot pay for what it takes to make my daughter better. I was told they need to put a machine in her ears to make her better, but I cannot pay. It's really a big challenge for me.
Doctors at the Kurugu Teaching Hospital have diagnosed the girl with severe hearing loss in both right and left ears. She will need hearing aids in both ears to support her in communication. With no one to turn to, little Clara has been forced to her fate. No school, few friends save for her neighbors, and no money for her possible hearing comfort. But Ajo Anagbala, aunt to the girl, still believes in the assurance from the doctors Clara's hearing can be saved.
Onyamum, yenya machine de shana soa, obetumi akasa. Jesus kana mokano anu yedi. Yentuminya.
I asked Maxwell Amwening, a family friend, on why he reached out to JoyNews with Clara's story.
I know Ghanaians can do something for little Clara because I believe most Ghanaians give because they want to give and help and impact the life of people. This is what I want to ask Ghanaians to do for little Clara. I want them to impact in their life. She will grow up and become a better woman. You understand? So when she gets to know that someone somewhere helped her to speak, to be able to hear something, that means she's also going to help someone without even thinking twice. So everybody should try and do something. The little that you can give will make a lot more in their life.
A desperate mother does not have much to say.
I really need help. I'm pleading with Ghanaians to help me. We all have no idea who this girl will turn out to be. Please, I need funds to take care of my daughter.
Good afternoon, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The Securities and Exchange Commission has assured all customers of defunct asset management firms that no one will be excluded from the planned government bailout. This is coming after Black Shield Capital in a statement alleged that the Commission is working to exclude its customers from claims settlement, but in a statement, SEC described those claims as unfounded and baseless. And on the issue of access to Black Shield Capital's data, SEC maintained that it only managed to get access recently after the use of law enforcement agencies. It added that this will now give it the clearance to go ahead, its agent's ability to go ahead and validate the remaining claims filed against Black Shield. Now, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Chomanting, is making a case for other African countries to adopt steps taken by Ghana to develop the automotive industry on the continent. Now, according to him, the country's objective of making locally assembled vehicles the first choice in all government vehicle procurement is a big boost. He believes this will give confidence to vehicle manufacturers in the country. Mr. Chomanting was addressing the first Africa Automotive Forum hosted by Deloitte and the Africa Association of Automotive Manufacturers.
As you normally do. So the challenges, it's not just Ghana, it's a global thing. And it's very difficult to just plan in Ghana and say that we are okay because Ghana is out of the lockdown. It's the ramification from other countries that makes that impact more severe. So the government support should go beyond just the cuts. Of course, I mean, if you are looking at only the two places, paying salaries and financing debts, and then we have a problem. And it's not just about the 10 pointers, as we are all aware. It's